of the world. This is CJLD1130, and with me is Komori Urufu. Today, it's been a long time, but we're going to be doing the top 10 PlayStation games. Now, mind you, this is Komori Urufu's idea, so say something about this list.
Yeah, well, first of all, we have a few things to say about this. One, we limited it to one game per franchise, so even though we liked all three of... A bit of minor spoiler alert, even though we liked all three of the Spyro games, we're only limiting it to one on this list.
Yeah.
And two, we also had a tough time just picking games for this list, and as such, we're going to mention some honorable mentions between number 2 and 1.
So without further ado, let's get this list started.
Okay, at number 10 we have Descent. I'm not sure how many people have heard of this game. A lot of people describe it as a spacey version of Doom. Basically, you're piloting a starship and you go around shooting robots and whatnot. There are 27 levels, 30 if you count the 3 secret levels. Although I've never played this game on the PlayStation 1. I did play it a lot on the PC, and I'm pretty sure they're the same. It's just that I think the PC probably has slightly better graphics than the PlayStation version.
Coming up at number 9 is Intelligent Qube. Now, this game is one of the first released for the PlayStation system, aka it's a launch title. Now, this game is a tough puzzle game you must know about, because it does test your IQ. It tests your intelligence, hence the name Intelligent Qube. Basically, all you have to do is solve the puzzle. Basically. It ranges from easy to hard within 3 levels. Trust me, you do not want to play this game if you are faint of heart and faint of intelligence. Sorry. Coming up at number 8 is Medieval. You play as a fallen soldier from the war, Daniel Fortescue, and your mission is to stop the sorcerer from taking over the town. Oh wait, I forgot, he already did that. Oopsie! But you have to stop him from continuing on doing this so that he would take over the world. So, undead on undead battle? Cool.
At number 7 we have Crash Bash. This was another one where we had a little trouble narrowing it down to the one game per series thing. If I had to describe Crash Bash, I would kind of describe it as a sort of Crash Bandicoot equivalent of Mario Party, but at the same time not exactly, because there aren't as many game varieties if you ask me, but I still like it, and it kind of has a little, I guess you could call it a campaign mode that you can actually play co-op as well, which I think really makes the game a lot better.
And easier.
Yeah, and easier, for the most part. Unless your partner's being a real douche to you. Okay, number 6, we have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I never played this game personally, but from what I can tell, this is the... Sorry, let me rephrase that. This is the 3rd of the Resident Evil series. It is by far the 2nd best of the franchise, next to Resident Evil 4. Opinion, don't sue me. You play as Jill Valentine, almost said Jill, who was last seen in the first Resident Evil game after she escaped the mansion. She would play an important role in the game as she is part of the STARS team, who helps out in the anti-pandemic team from the Umbrella Corporation's T-Virus. But Nemesis, the antagonist who works for Umbrella, would have a mission from the corporation to kill all STARS team members, and it's up to you to stop this pandemic.
Stars. Coming up at number 5 is the greatest horror survival game of all the PlayStation, but not the best ever, because it's number 5, Silent Hill. Now, the plot of the game is you're Harry Mason, major spoiler alert, you're dead. And basically you're in this world of Silent Hill. Your life equivalent is Centralia, Pennsylvania. And you're basically exploring this, quote, ghost town, when you realize the deep, dark secrets within this town. I won't spoil too much of the game. Play it yourself. You will get chills down your spine, and trust me, you will not sleep for a week. is Twisted Metal 4. This game, oh my goodness. Best Demolition Derby, well, Twisted Metal game of the series entirely. Because not only do you know that Sweet Tooth has pretty much taken over the Twisted Metal empire, he's made it better. Or so we think. You play as many different characters, like every other Twisted Metal game. And a very good surprise appearance by Rob Zombie! And basically it's the plot of every other Twisted Metal game. Beat the other competitors, and you get a wish. You might want to play through the game to figure out the other wishes.
Actually, now that I think about it, I did play some Twisted Metal games before, but besides the point, number 3 is Metal Gear Solid, Kojima's finest work. You play as a former soldier, codenamed Solid Snake, to help stop the project known as Metal Gear Rex, told by Otakon, which for those not in the know is Japanese for fan convention. So you must stop your brother from activating the nuclear project to take over the world. This game has a movie-like complex and is the greatest in the series, although I've never played it personally. Number 2 is Spyro the Dragon. Yeah, remember that spoiler alert in the intro? This was a really tough choice to not put at number 1, but we put it at number 2. You'll see what number 1 is, and you probably won't be surprised by it. Anyways, Spyro the Dragon. It's the game that started the whole series. I mean, if you ask me, the original 3 were by far the best in the series. Never played Enter the Dragonfly, probably never will either. But basically, you just go around collecting gems, freeing dragons, going through the 5 homeworlds, 6 if you count the final world, and ultimately you end up beating Nasty Nork in the end.
Is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Now, the reason why we didn't put this in the list, but put it in the honorable mentions, is that it's the best skateboarding game out there, period. I think Completionist said it best. It is one of the best, by far, by music, graphics, and gameplay. Watch the Completionist episode if you haven't, and, layers! Up next in the honorable mentions is Kanoa.
Wahoo!
What was that?
That was supposed to be Kanoa.
Oh. Kanoa is one of the best games out there, and I'm not trying to be that typical furry, but I have to! I am so sorry. But anyways, it's actually one of the best adventure side-scrollers, I guess you could say, for the PS1, and even though, if I'm not mistaken, they do have other games for the later PlayStation systems. Make one for the PS4! Sony, what are you doing?
Well, I know there was a Kanoa 2, but I don't think there have been any besides that.
Yeah, make it Kanoa 3. And finally, in honorable mentions, we have Final Fantasy VII. This is going to give us this is going to give you guys a lot of heat for not putting this for us not putting this in number 1, but hey, these are our opinions. Opinions are like armpits. Everybody has two, and they all stink. Okay? Final Fantasy VII is actually the longest game I've ever played. No joke. Besides Final Fantasy VI, which is like the Super Nintendo game, Final Fantasy VII is long, and I mean long. It takes 5 discs. No, 4, I'm sorry. It takes 4 discs to complete this game entirely. OMG. But let's move on to number 1, which is, drumroll please, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Why did I put this game on the list? Especially number 1. Well, let's say a certain somebody by the name of Alucard, Dracula's son, the most badassest person in the entire game. I know you start off the game with the prequel part where Richter defeats Dracula, and basically he lives in the castle, so the castle's not technically destroyed, but still, it's the greatest PlayStation game I've ever played. I've completed it dozens of times. Completionist has done an episode on this, even though he's never played the game before. I've loved this game. I love the graphics, love the music, I love the style, I love the story. All in all, this is the best Castlevania game in the world, and this is the best Castlevania game on the PlayStation 1, and is the best PlayStation 1 game in the entire library. So that is it for our PlayStation 1 game list. Leave a comment below on what you think is your favorite PlayStation 1 game and why you like it so much. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, please subscribe, and next up we will have our top 10 GameCube games with a very special twist. Thank you guys, and have a good night.